Adam Richards never considered himself a hero. He was just a struggling father trying to raise his twin daughters, Emily and Grace, in a world that seemed determined to keep them down. His job as a mechanic barely covered rent, and more often than not, he skipped meals so the girls wouldn't have to. Still, Adam found joy in small things. Emily's curiosity, Grace's laughter, and the way they always held his hands as if to remind him that he wasn't alone. They were his world, and even in poverty, he believed love made their tiny apartment a home. It was a freezing winter night when the story began. Snow fell in thick sheets, covering the sidewalks in silence. Adam walked home with the girls after a long day at the garage. He carried 2 small bags of groceries, their meager dinner for the week. Emily tugged at his sleeve suddenly. "Daddy, look," she whispered. Ahead, near the corner store, a young woman sat huddled on the ground, wrapped in nothing but a thin blanket. In her arms, a baby whimpered weakly. Grace gasped. Why is she sleeping here? Adam's heart clenched, though he already knew the answer. The woman's face was pale, her lips trembling from the cold. She rocked the baby gently, whispering soft words as tears slid down her cheeks. Passers-by walked past, some glancing, others ignoring her completely. Adam froze, torn between fear and compassion. He barely had enough to feed his daughters. How could he help someone else? But Emily's small voice broke through his hesitation. "Daddy, we can't leave her here. The baby's crying," Grace added. "Mommy would want us to help." Adam's chest tightened at the mention of their mother. He knew his girls were right. He couldn't just walk away. He crouched down, his breath fogging in the icy air. "Are you all right?" he asked, gently. The woman shook her head, too weak to answer fully. "Please," she whispered. "I have nowhere to go." The baby stirred, letting out a pitiful cry. Adam looked at Emily and Grace, then back at the woman. Every logical part of him screamed that he couldn't afford this. But then he thought about his daughters. What kind of lesson would he teach them if he turned his back now? With a sigh, he extended his hand. "Come with us. You'll freeze out here." The woman hesitated, her eyes wide with disbelief. "You don't even know me," she said. Adam shrugged. "You don't need to earn the right to be helped." Slowly, she allowed him to help her to her feet. She was lighter than he expected, frail from exhaustion. The baby stirred again, and Grace hurried to adjust the blanket around him. Emily clutched her father's coat tightly, her eyes full of worry. Together, they began the walk back to their small apartment. Adam's mind raced with doubt. How would he feed another mouth? But his daughters' relieved faces told him he'd done right. Their apartment was far from luxurious. A single bedroom, a small kitchen, and a couch that doubled as Adam's bed. Still, it was warm, and right now, warmth mattered most. Adam ushered the woman inside, guiding her to the couch. "Sit," he said firmly. "You need rest." She clutched the baby protectively, whispering thanks through chattering teeth. Emily and Grace darted around, fetching a blanket and offering her a cup of water. Adam heated the small pot of soup he had planned for their dinner, dividing it carefully. "Eat," he insisted, placing the bowl in her trembling hands. "You'll need strength." The woman hesitated, clearly embarrassed, but hunger won out. She ate slowly, tears streaming down her face. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "I shouldn't be here. I'm just a burden." Adam shook his head. "You're a mother doing her best. That's not a burden, it's survival." Emily leaned closer, peering at the baby. "What's his name?" she asked softly. The woman's lips curved into the faintest smile. "Ethan?" Grace clapped her hands. "Hi, Ethan." The baby let out a small coo, and for the first time that night, laughter filled the tiny room. Adam felt something shift. Maybe this wasn't a mistake after all. As the night wore on, Adam prepared a makeshift bed for the woman and her baby. He gave up his couch and chose the floor instead, insisting it was fine. Emily and Grace snuggled under their shared blanket, whispering excitedly about their new friend. Adam listened quietly, exhaustion pulling at his body, but his mind refusing to rest. Who was this woman? What had brought her to the streets with a baby? He didn't ask yet. Tonight was about safety, not questions. As he drifted off to sleep, he heard Ethan's soft breathing and realized the apartment didn't feel lonely anymore. Morning came too soon. Adam rose early, as always, preparing breakfast from their limited supplies. Pancakes made from the last of the mix, divided carefully. The woman awoke to the smell, her eyes widening. "You're feeding us?" she asked, as though the idea shocked her. Adam shrugged. Everyone deserves breakfast. Emily and Grace proudly showed her the pictures they had drawn, one of their family, now including her and Ethan. Tears filled her eyes. "Why are you so kind to me?" Adam paused, looking at his daughters. "Because someday, if my girls needed help, I'd pray someone would do the same." Over the next days, the woman whose name they learned was Lily began to open up. She had fled an abusive relationship, choosing the streets over danger. She had tried shelters, but space was limited, and she was turned away. Adam listened quietly, fury simmering beneath his calm expression. "No one should be left like that," he muttered. Lily stroked Ethan's hair, her voice breaking. "I didn't know what else to do." Emily sat beside her, offering one of her ribbons. "Now you're safe," she said firmly. Grace nodded. "Daddy takes care of everyone." Adam's throat tightened. He wasn't sure he deserved that praise. Food grew scarcer with another mouth to feed. Adam stretched every dollar, taking extra shifts and eating less himself. He never complained, but Lily noticed. One evening, she placed a portion of food back onto his plate. "Please," she said softly. "You can't take care of us if you starve yourself." Adam tried to argue, but her determined gaze silenced him. For the first time, he realized Lily wasn't just surviving, she was strong, stronger than she believed. Emily and Grace adored her, clinging to her like an older sister. The apartment was crowded, the nights long, but laughter filled the cracks. Despite the hardships, a rhythm formed. Lily helped with chores, watched the girls while Adam worked, and soothed Ethan through sleepless nights. Adam found himself admiring her resilience. She never complained, even when exhaustion weighed her down. The girls grew attached quickly. "Can Lily stay forever?" Emily asked one night. Adam hesitated, his heart torn. He couldn't promise forever, not when their lives were so fragile. But as he looked at Lily holding Ethan, humming softly, he wondered if fate had already decided for him. Sometimes family wasn't about blood, it was about who chose to stay. And Lily had stayed. One evening, Adam returned home later than usual, exhausted from a double shift. As he opened the door, he froze. The sight before him was something he'd never expected. Lily was on the floor with Emily and Grace, reading a book aloud while Ethan dozed peacefully in her lap. The girls' faces glowed with joy, their giggles filling the room. Adam felt a warmth spread through him, something he hadn't felt since before his wife's passing. It was the feeling of home, complete, alive, full. He realized then that Lily wasn't just a guest. She had become part of their lives. Still, doubts haunted him. Could he support everyone? Was it fair to bring Lily and Ethan into his fragile world of scarcity? Late at night, he lay awake, staring at the ceiling, battling his fears. Yet every time he looked at his daughters, at their smiles when they sat beside Lily, those fears softened. "Daddy," Grace said one morning, "Ethan feels like our little brother," Emily added. "And Lily makes the apartment happier." Adam swallowed hard. Children had a way of seeing truth without complication. Maybe they were right. Maybe, despite his poverty, they had everything they needed each other. The outside world, however, wasn't so forgiving. Neighbors whispered, questioning why Adam had brought a stranger into his home. Some accused Lily of taking advantage. Adam ignored them, but the weight of judgment pressed on him. Lily overheard once, her eyes brimming with tears. "Maybe I should leave," she whispered. Adam shook his head firmly. "Don't you dare! My girls need you. And maybe, so do I." Silence stretched between them, heavy with unspoken truths. Lily nodded, wiping her tears. For the first time, she didn't feel like a burden. She felt like she belonged, and that made all the difference. As weeks turned to months, their bond deepened. Adam still struggled financially, but he no longer felt alone in the battle. Lily picked up small sewing jobs, contributing what she could. Emily and Grace adored helping her, learning stitches and creating little gifts. Ethan thrived under the warmth of this makeshift family. Their apartment was still cramped, their meals simple, but love wove through every corner. Adam realized that while wealth might have made life easier, it wouldn't have made it fuller. What they had now, a family forged in kindness, was something money could never buy, and that was priceless. One night, after the children were asleep, Adam and Lily sat at the small kitchen table, sipping tea. Silence lingered, but it was comfortable. Finally, Lily spoke. "You saved us," she whispered. Adam shook his head. "No, we saved each other." Their eyes met, and in that quiet exchange, something unspoken passed between them. Something fragile, yet undeniable. Neither dared to name it yet, but both knew it was there. The journey ahead would be hard, but they weren't alone anymore. And sometimes that was enough to change everything. The night felt warmer somehow, as though love had begun to bloom. The notice on the door hit Adam like a wave, rent overdue, eviction looming. He folded the paper and slid it under the sugar tin, so Emily and Grace wouldn't see it staring. That night at the wobbling table, he traced the rim of an empty mug and tried to do math that had never liked him. Lily poured weak tea and said, "We'll find a way." He nodded because her voice left little room for despair. Outside, snow made the street honest. Inside, Ethan slept, and the small apartment held 4 heartbeats, trying to agree on hope. The garage cut Adam's hours until spring, which sounded like a season and felt like a sentence. He brought home discounted bread and told the girls the crusts were explorers, which made them laugh and made him braver. Lily noticed the hollows under his eyes and pushed half her dinner back onto his plate. "You can't carry us if you're empty," she said. He tried to argue and couldn't. That night, she stitched a rip in his jacket while he washed dishes. Thread crossed fabric the way promise crosses fear. Slowly, precisely, refusing to break. Whispers blossomed in the staircase. The homeless girl. The crying baby. That mechanic with soft boundaries. Mrs. Daly downstairs complained about midnight lullabies. Lily, cheeks hot, whispered to Adam that she could leave if it made the building quieter. He shook his head with a steadiness that made the walls listen. "You're not noise," he said. "You're family." Emily and Grace overheard and wrapped Lily and Ethan like a two-person blanket, declaring, "Nobody leaves." Lily exhaled a years-long breath and let herself believe the room would still be hers in the morning. They built a plan out of chores and courage. Adam grabbed a night cleaning shift at an office that smelled like stale coffee and ambition. Lily wrote a note at the laundromat, mending, cheap, and careful, and within a week, pillowcases, uniforms, and favorite jeans appeared in a basket by their door. Emily and Grace delivered finished bundles with yarn bows and practiced thank yous that sounded like songs. The hallway, once suspicious, began to nod hello. Exhaustion still visited nightly, but it no longer brought its friend, loneliness. On Thursday, a caseworker arrived, clipboard balanced like a shield. "Anonymous report, overcrowding," she said. Adam invited her in anyway. Emily produced a chore chart with pride. Grace recited the fire plan like a poem. Lily showed the crib she'd assembled from thrifted parts and stubbornness. The caseworker's shoulders dropped. "You're doing hard things well," she said, closing the notebook. After the door clicked, Lily's hands trembled. "I'm always afraid someone will take him." Adam covered her fingers. "Not while I'm breathing." The sentence felt like oak playing. Strong, true. Trouble from yesterday knocked wearing cologne and apologies. Ethan's father said Lily's name like a claim and tried the hinge with his shoulder's memory. Adam filled the doorway with quiet muscle. "No," he said, the word heavy as a locked safe. Lily found her own voice and added, "You lost the right to this family." She closed the door gently, as if ending a book she'd finally finished. The twins sprinted over, crowned her with a dish towel, and chanted, "Queen of the door." Lily laughed until the fear left her bones. Summer arrived like a favor. The alterations shop Mr. Alvarez had mentioned took Lily for morning hours. She came home smelling of steam and chalk, pride stitched into her spine. Adam replaced stair treads and fixed leaky faucets for neighbors who paid in small bills, gratitude, and sometimes soup. Emily and Grace started a kindness club that met at the kitchen table. Membership required listening, folding flyers, and believing shy people had loud hearts. Ethan learned to toddle, bouncing between outstretched hands like good news. The landlord returned with a voice that had forgotten courtesy. Adam offered repairs for time. He'd brace the stair rail, paint the scuffed entry, quiet the door that slammed like an argument. Lily matched pain by eye, covering years of opinions in one steady afternoon. The twins taped hand-drawn wet paint signs shaped like flowers. Neighbors walked softer, as if the hallway requested it. The landlord handed Adam an envelope with a begrudged discount and muttered, "Building doesn't look so poor now." It wasn't praise, it was leverage. They took it. July brought a fiercer notice and a smaller bank balance. On a detour home, Adam found a letting office hiding behind a tree and an agent who showed him a 2-bedroom with floors that spoke in friendly creaks. The windows promised light if someone believed in them. That night, the family ran numbers on napkins. Lily suggested a Saturday market booth and baby caps that made strangers open wallets. Emily proposed 5-cent concerts. Grace decided autographs were free. The math still frowned, but less. Adam asked the old landlord to transfer the deposit and called the new one Sir on purpose. They moved without fanfare and with 10 helpers. Mrs. Daly baked a casserole that smelled like a truce. Mr. Alvarez brought a bag of mismatched buttons in case life needs closing. The new kitchen window faced a sky that wasn't exhausted. Boxes stacked like Tetris felt almost competent. Emily and Grace argued about curtains, then solved it the way sisters do. One chose color, the other pattern. Both agreed to change their minds often. The apartment didn't promise miracles. It promised air and a door that shut kindly. Sometimes that's enough. They ate the first dinner on the floor, rice, beans, and a squeeze of something bright. Lily refused to confess was lemon water. Adam told a story about a bicycle that only turned left until someone apologized. The girls demanded the bicycle's side of things, and he improvised joy into the room. When Ethan slept, Adam and Lily shared tea at the small table. "You saved us," she whispered. "We saved each other," he said. The sentence landed softly and stayed. Outside, a bus sighed. Inside, the future unclenched. Work settled into a rhythm that creaked but held. The shop trusted Lily with bridle seams and uniform hems that made other people's jobs look effortless. Adam repaired toasters on stoops and patched a bakery mixer in exchange for cash and bruised fruit. The girls ran their kindness club with minutes, agendas, stickers, and serious faces. They voted to adopt the stairwell plan nobody watered and named it Captain Green. The building started to feel like a small town with ceilings. A school flyer asked for an adult who fixes things to speak on career day. Adam tried to hide behind busyness until Lily moved a flyer to his coffee cup. He stood before a forest of fourth graders and held up a cracked mug. "You don't throw something away because it's cracked," he said. "You learn where it's weak and make it strong there." He didn't say he meant people. He didn't have to. When he got home, Emily announced he was famous, and Grace asked for his autograph in pencil for practice. Saturday market days turned into a quilt of stories. Lily sold baby caps and good luck pockets to sew inside uniforms. A teen asked for a prom dress rescue that made her stand like herself. Lily pinned confidence into the lining and cried in the bathroom after. Adam set up a small fix-it sign and returned hair dryers, lamps, and a granddad's radio to the world of the working. The twins braided thread bracelets for a penny or a promise. Promises were more common. That seemed right. Stability is a shy animal. You earn his trust by not clapping. Mr. Alvarez found a vintage singer and delivered it like a royal decree. The foot pedal purred. Lily's stitches shortened, her time stretched. Adam's route added 3 regular clients in a bakery that insisted he'd take 2 loaves for morale. Ethan learned more and up and again, which he applied to stories, songs, and peas. Even the bills looked less like threats and more like invitations to plan. A letter arrived with apologies shaped like excuses. No return address, just a name that used to turn Lily to glass. She read it once, then tucked it under the pot of Captain Green. "I don't need him to be a villain for me to be okay," she said. "I just need him to be elsewhere." Adam nodded, the kind of nod that keeps company with silence. The twins drew houses with too many windows on purpose, so everyone can see in and nobody gets lost. Emily's class staged a pageant about neighborhoods: bus drivers, shopkeepers, crossing guards, librarians. Adam built a cardboard backdrop with a tiny door on tiny hinges that actually opened. Gasps. Magic. Lily sat in the folding chair with Ethan bouncing on her knee, tears bright and ordinary. Afterward, the teacher asked if Lily would speak next month about the art of mending. Lily said yes, then practiced at the table with a scrap of denim and a speech that began, "The prettiest patch is the honest one." The old landlord showed up at the market pretending not to blush. "That rail I can't keep fixed," he muttered. Do you still? Adam did. They traded a handshake for an address for a Saturday, and a Saturday for cash, folded twice. He asked, awkwardly, if Lily would teach his niece to hem. She agreed, not out of kindness to him, but to the niece, who deserved to know her hands could argue with fabric and win. Small restitution, paid forward. Winter came back patient, not punishing. The radiators learned rhythm. The windows traded drafts for light. Money still required respect, but panic stopped visiting nightly. They marked days not by feast or famine, but by what they'd fixed, learned, shared. Adam found a music box at the thrift store and coaxed its tin heart to sing. Lily made a stew that convinced onions to be sweet. The girls hung paper stars and named them after boring weekdays to make them feel special. One evening, after homework and dishes and the eternal search for the blue crayon, Adam set 4 mugs on the table, too big, too small. His voice came out careful. I kept saying you could leave when it got hard, he began. But I don't want you to. Not when it's hard, not when it's easy. I want this to be where you don't have to ask to belong. Lily looked at him, at the girls pretending not to eavesdrop, at Ethan pulling up on her knee. I've been home since the night you shared your soup, she said. The twins exploded into celebration, declaring an emergency meeting of the Kindness Club with cake made of toast and jam. They awarded Adam and Lily certificates for brave hearts, written in marker and sealed with stickers. Ethan clapped, because everyone was clapping, then demanded again. And they said the promise again because some sentences are supposed to be repeated. They didn't plan weddings or change names. They planned breakfast and school drop-off and a Saturday booth, ordinary futures, bright as clean windows. Spring didn't creep. It knocked and walked in barefoot. Herbs sprouted in jam jars labeled with the girls' block letters. Captain Green recovered from winter with show-off leaves. Adam's hands stayed busy with useful things. Lily's machine hummed like a content cat. At the cemetery, they tied a ribbon at the stone of the woman who made Emily and Grace possible, and Lily whispered, "Thanks for teaching her where courage lives." On the stoop that evening, cars passed. A dog negotiated with a pigeon. The sky kept its pink longer than necessary. Their stitched-together life breathed in and out enough.